Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review, so hopefully you find this one interesting. This movie is a horror film from Germany, German language English subs, released in the year 2000, directed by Stefan Razowitzky, and this film is called Anatomy. So Anatomy is about this brilliant medical student. She has been accepted in this prestigious medical school to further her studies and her career, and so her family is a little bit reluctant about letting her go, but ultimately this is what she needs in her life. So she gets to this school, she's introduced to the fellow students. Very quickly she makes some new friends, and this is where she starts her studies. So the overall class that she's in is very cutthroat, it's very high level. If you don't reach a certain standard, you're going to be rejected. So she's got a lot of pressure, but that pressure is going to be added when she realises that someone on the dissecting table is someone that she knows. So she wants to know how this person died. It's because they're telling the teachers are telling her that he died of a disease, but she doesn't believe that. She believes that something else is going on. So she wants to get to the bottom of this and at the same time try and juggle her studies, but she's finding it increasingly more difficult because she's paranoid with the fact that there is something sinister going on at this school that dates back many hundreds of years. So as the closer she gets to the truth, the more dangerous she becomes in, and what that danger is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Anatomy. This movie did have a very interesting idea, and there were moments in this movie that were actually pretty good, but unfortunately overall I thought it was a very disappointing film. Now to start off with, it does have a very claustrophobic atmosphere. This is the movie that really kick-started the medical the medical study murder sort of horror films, in that, for example, Pathology, which is a very recent horror film that was about medical students who were doing some pretty horrible things. And so this movie does have a lot of gore, it does have a lot of stomach churning sort of scenes, but not done in a violent sense. So if you've got a weak stomach, you might not like Anatomy, but I still thought that the theme of this medical student studies was very claustrophobic. You've got a lot of dead bodies, you've got a lot of sort of morbid environments and morbid situations that really does keep a stranglehold on the viewer for the first minute to the last. So it actually has a very good continuity to it. I thought it was a very fluent film. It goes for 90 minutes and it never really outstays its welcome. So as far as the progression of the film is concerned, I thought it was actually quite well done. I thought that there were some suspenseful moments here and there that really do capture you, especially at the end. There were some shocking moments that I really liked, and I really liked the story that the behind this school. I thought it was very sinister, and you wouldn't normally associate it with today's world, and so it dates back a long time, and so I like that kind of idea, is that it does have something a little bit more to the story than you would first think. So there's a lot of mystery at the start of the film, and I thought that really captures the audience. But unfortunately, once things are revealed, it's a little bit too obvious. I thought this movie would have been a lot better if it left it a little bit more to the imagination. There's nothing left to the imagination in this film, and therefore it does take away a lot of the suspenseful moments. So if it was very subtle and you're kind of guessing, is she paranoid or is she onto something, that would have been so much better. But straight from, say, the first 10 minutes, you know what's going on. You know that there is something very sinister behind this school, and because it's all spelled out for you, you don't really leave it into your imagination. You don't really create that monster in the corner of the room that you can't see but you know it's there, and that to me is a lot more scary. But this film doesn't do that. It just kind of wipes away all the mystery very quickly, and unfortunately the mystery was the best part of this film, but when the mystery is present anymore, it does become a little bit tedious as far as, you know, getting to this certain situation, because it becomes ultimately very predictable. I thought the acting was fairly hit and miss. I thought the characters really needed a lot more to them, for the simple fact that Franca Potenti is the main character. She is a very good actress. I really like her, but she felt like she was a little bit bored with the character she was playing. She didn't really have to betray too many emotions. I thought her reactions to certain events weren't really that realistic. I thought towards the end it was getting a little bit silly, and so I think that for an actress of her standard, she really needed a better script. I thought some of the script was a little bit iffy, it was a little bit cheesy, and it really does take you out of the moment. I thought the score really, the score suffered as well, is that the overall music that was played in a certain scene didn't really match it, and so that is ultimately what takes the scare factor away, is that there are noticeable things that seem a little bit silly, and you kind of think to yourself, okay, I'm really not getting sucked into this film as much as the director really wants me to. So as I said, some pretty good moments of suspense. There are some pretty good chase scenes, but they're sporadic sort of positives that the film has. It doesn't really hit you on a very, it doesn't hit you on a continuity kind of level. It doesn't really feel like it's consistently good. Unfortunately, it just becomes a film that was disappointing because I could see that if they shaped up the film in certain areas and they kind of left a little bit more to the imagination, it could have been a lot scarier. So ultimately, Anatomy really isn't that scary. It does have some mildly shocking moments, but unfortunately, as far as the claustrophobic atmosphere is concerned, it wasn't complemented by the way that the story was told and ultimately the way it was written and acted. So the acting wasn't bad, as I said, but it really didn't have too much to play with because the writing really did let it down. So overall, for Anatomy, I know a lot of people like this film, but for me, if I'm being brutally honest, I really didn't get into it as much as I wanted to, and as a result of that, I'm only going to give this one 2.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. The next time you watch your movies, and I'll see you later.